Okay, I'm just confirming the audio works. Our mics are hot right now. Looks like it's working. Hopefully everything is going to be fine. And we're all going to be okay.
Houston, Mike's hot, Mike's hot.
You can't hear the music, but it's there. We're coming to you in like 3, 2, 1, 0.
And that is how you solve every single problem you have in this world.
How is that?
Oh, I can't say it all again. Should I say it all again?
How is that? Okay, I think we got it sorted out.
We back. We are back. We are back. Much better, yeah. So that was fun. That was just
man, computers, right?
I think by default, anytime there's a problem on YouTube, YouTube should, the algorithm, I know you're listening, listen, hear me out. Turn on the Benny Hill music. So no matter what is happening, you just hear, it would fit perfectly.
That would be a nice feature to add. I mean, I'm sure they can license that.
Oh wait, we were going to make that meme. That's the meme we forgot to do.
Which meme?
We're going to talk about the Obi Wan trailer, which broke the internet literally for us. But
that is the culprit.
Yes, the Obi Wan trailer broke.
Folks are downloading that trailer.
The internet. But what we were going to do is, if you watch the finale of Book of Boba Fett, watch it again 3 times fast. Turn off the audio. Turn on the Benny Hill. Remember, we're going to make that meme.
You're talking about the pod, the cycle race.
Yes. Just at the end.
The scooters. The motor scooters.
Right at the end, the finale, because you notice they just kept going in a circle, and Krishantin was doing the pimp limp because he broke his foot. We need to make that meme.
Black Krishantin is a great pimp name.
Yeah, which rumor, we're going to jump right in. I guess rumor is he's might be making an appearance in the Obi Wan Kenobi show, which...
Are we about to talk about the Kenobi trailer?
Yeah, because we're going to talk about Obi Wan. We're going to talk about the Batman movie we're going to review. We're going to talk about Thunder Rosa, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Weird Beer, because it's Weird Beer Wednesday, but we got to get right into the Obi Wan trailer.
Do you want to hyperspace into the Obi Wan trailer?
Let's hyperspace back to Tatooine. Hello there. See if we time that right. But yeah, dude, we hit ludicrous speed. We almost turned to plaid. We need a plaid mask.
We've gone to plaid.
They've gone to plaid. But I got the coffee stain mask instead. But yeah, we are ready for some Obi-Wan Kenobi. I feel like all the Beta Fett, Boba Fett stuff is all gone. In an instant, Obi-Wan came in and just wiped it all away. And the internet is super psyched about this. First impressions, what did you think of the trailer?
I thought it was out of all the Star Wars shows that have come out thus far, this looked the most like the films.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like one of the films. I guess that's because Ewan McGregor is from the films. It's the first time they're translating an actual, like a top character like that.
Top character, yeah. Because I don't think you can count. You can't count Boba Fett because as much as you loved him and as cool as he was still technically somewhat of a background character. Jango Fett had more screen time than Boba Fett. You can't count Luke because that was deep fake Luke. This is Ewan McGregor. And this is a different generation, right? The prequels are beloved. There's a lot of people that, for some people, the OT, the PT is their OT. And then the OT is just like, that was cool. But the prequel trilogies is what made them Star Wars fans.
Well, the PT is getting a lot of love ever since
it really is.
The ST just ruined everything.
The ST. Yes, should have put yeah, they need well, we'll see. Do you think the STs are going to stand the test of times like the PTs?
I think the STs are maybe will be revisited later after we've had a bunch of successful TV shows and maybe another, T somewhere in there.
Yeah. I think the woke version might age the best.
Look, here's the thing.
What was the woke
Force
one in the
Awakens
middle?
is still the biggest movie of all time, right?
Yeah, it is.
So that's never going to go away. So eventually they'll reconnect. They'll be like, we got to use this thing. I know everybody got mad at it, but part 1 was good, so let's do something.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. But people are super psyched about it. I thought it was great. They really did basically cater to the prequel trilogy audience because when they put on Duel of the Fates, did you get goosebumps? Did you get the goosebumps?
Yeah, that was good. That's good.
Wait, I got to read Renato's comment. Obi Wan is the sequel to the prequels, but the prequel to the originals, who are the prequels to the sequels. But Mando and Boba Fett are the sequels to the originals, but the prequels to the sequels. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. That was too good not to read verbatim. Well done, Renato.
Nice Ace Ventura deep cut.
Yeah, that was very.
What's up, Lee?
What's up, Lee? But yeah, I was really happy with it. I thought it looked great. The big news that also came from this is obviously, besides there are Inquisitors in it, Inquisitors from Rebels, but also.
So what are the Inquisitors? I don't know these characters.
So the Inquisitors are basically dark side Force users that were trained by Darth Vader to basically become Force-trained attack dogs. So they're above troopers, but they can use the Force. They're trained with lightsabers, and their sole purpose is to use the Force to hunt and kill Jedi.
Jedi hunters.
Jedi hunters.
Jedi hunters with Jedi powers.
Yeah, so you know how Cad Bane made a big splash in Boba Fett. I think this was in Rebels. They actually had him in there, or maybe it was the Bad Batch. There was a heist that he got a holocron that actually had the name of all these Force-sensitive kids that he was bringing back to the Empire, which they talk about that eventually is going to lead into Palps using it to get that clone work going. So he was going to actually, and that's where Grogu came in. But anyway, they use these Inquisitors to hunt, and I think it's going to lead into, they have this one new Inquisitor that's a little bit trying to impress her new boss, which is Darth Vader, and said, I think your number one enemy is still alive, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
They should have shown Vader in it, though.
So you really just got his breathing at the end, and it was only one breath. But there's part of me that I'm kind of glad they didn't. Like, I know people are still a little upset about Boba Fett. It is what it is. I mean, we got him back. We'll see how it goes. All I know is in Filoni, I trust, and I don't think Filoni had anything to do with that. So
just stop bringing it up already.
Yes,
We've moved on.
It's in the clear, and I think this kind of washed it away. They have to protect this character. This is probably their most important piece of Star Wars content they've ever made. More important.
That's huge.
Because if the sequel trilogy was successful, this would have been icing on the cake. Now this is the most important piece that they've done, because Mandalorian is already a win, right? They got that win. They got Grogu. Basically, Star Wars is going to be fine if it was just Grogu and Din Djarin the rest of the time. But they're going in deep into that toy box, and they're whipping out that Obi-Wan Kenobi figure, and they're playing with some canonical stuff and a very rabid fan base. They have to do it right.
So Lee says in the video games, they used the Jedi they broke through torture as Inquisitors.
Yes.
So they turned Jedis on themselves?
Yes. Well, there's one, I think it's the Grand Inquisitor, right? That he was this was in Clone Wars, I believe, that he was a former Jedi that was disenchanted. So instead of going to the dark side and becoming a Sith, he went to the dark side, but became a dark side user and just a Jedi hunter. So, and I think there's some canon stuff that you go into the books, because they have those Jedi guards that have the yellow lightsabers that are somewhat Force users, but they're not Jedi per se, that I think would be along those lines.
That's interesting. I don't know that I've ever seen... They haven't really done that in the films at all, where folks can just have some Jedi ability, you know?
No, they really hadn't. I mean, they started hinting to that's what they were going to do, right? With Rey with like the gray Jedi, that she wasn't going to be like a full-on Jedi. And then technically Anakin was not going to allowed to be a Jedi, and that's what got him down this road where Qui-Gon was still going to train him, but he wasn't going to be allowed to be a Jedi. And remember, it wasn't until the very end Yoda begrudgingly said, "Fine, you can train him to be a Jedi," but he was going to just train him to be a Force user, but not be a Jedi.
I see.
So there's one of their shows coming out is called The Acolyte, which I think is going to start to jump into this. This is one of the, I think this is a new property. It's going to be, so it's a little bit more mysterious of what it is. This has their potential to be Mandalorian level, which goes to so you, because you never watched, I mean, I watched Clone Wars, I watched Rebels, I read a few of the books, I read the Darth Vader comic books, but I mean, I'm not like deep into it, but you're just films only, and then whatever streaming on Disney, right?
All I know is the films, Disney, and the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yes. Which is canon, which is, yeah, it used to be a lot harder to see that now. Like, I think I have a burnt DVD of it.
Yeah, I remember they used to sell VHS of it at comic book shows, and now it's on YouTube, though. You can watch the full thing.
Yeah, you can get it. And they actually even played with it, right? Because they did a Star Wars Lego holiday special that they kind of played with it a little bit. I think they should revisit it and just let somebody just have fun with it. Just go deep with it. Just get meta with it. I think they should revisit it. I mean, R.I.P. They're not going to be able to get B. Arthur. I mean, but she's a national treasure, and she's in there.
Yeah, just go full variety show again with it.
Right.
Just have the Star Wars characters interact with B celebrities.
Yeah.
And do skits.
I mean, one of our favorite episodes of The Muppet Show growing up was when Luke Skywalker kind of came in there, because that Muppet Show was hosted by Luke Skywalker and Mark Hamill. So I think they can go with that. Renato said, yeah, excited about the Cassian Andor series, Space Spycraft. So there's some cool news actually about Andor. So the rumor is, so basically they're looking at Obi Wan. He's going to be, they're trying to use him as the connective tissue, possibly in the vein of Iron Man. And there's rumors that Andor could make an appearance in the Obi-Wan series, and they're talking about Ahsoka and Obi-Wan making an appearance in the Andor series.
Not in the Obi-Wan series?
Yeah, no, they're going to have crossover there.
Ahsoka in the Obi-Wan series.
And the Andor series.
That would like cause a vacuum in space or something. I feel like if they had Rosario Dawson's character appear with Ewan McGregor in that series.
Oh man. Yeah, again, they have history together, so it is possible. Because here's the thing, right? All right, we're just getting to speculate. I didn't read any of the leaks or rumors, so I'm just speculating here. But if we looked at the trailer, clearly they had some off-world, off-Tatooine stuff, right? There was some. He's definitely left Tatooine. Who did he leave to babysit young Luke when he left?
It was Uncle Owen, right?
But you need a Force user, technically, to watch over him, right? Uncle Owen ain't shit against anybody. I mean, he got vaporized.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Somebody with Jedi ability would...
Is Ahsoka going to babysit young Luke? Are we going to get Don't Tell Mom the babysitter's dead and get some Ahsoka as a babysitter?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's totally doable.
Yeah.
I don't know the timeline, though. I don't know what the years in between the stuff is.
So remember, so in the end of Clone Wars, she left the Jedi Order because she got framed and they didn't believe her. So then she's like, screw it. And that's why she has the lightsaber. So she still has lightsabers, but she obviously was still around. And this is spoilers, I guess. Do you want to throw a spoiler thing up if you want to talk about Rebels? If you're going to... So if you watch Rebels, so then that is when Ahsoka does come back as Fulcrum, where she's a spy, and that's when we see all grown up Ahsoka in there. But Renato's right that it said she's going to be younger, since it's 30 years into the series, so she's going to be younger. And there's been a big push that they wanted Ashley, I forgot her last name, who actually voiced Ahsoka in the cartoons, to play Ahsoka. So they might have to do like a younger version of it. But look, Ahsoka was a badass like right out of the gate, Like when she was young, she was already kicking ass. So she, at this time, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, she is old enough that she would be able to babysit Luke for a little while.
I think that would destroy the internet.
All right, this is an intergalactic gossip column. Yeah, I don't know. I think
That's
it would
what
be
Star Wars
cool.
fandom is. It's pretty much just a gossip column.
It is a gossip column, but I like the idea of using Obi-Wan to kind of connect some of these shows. But I think they have to use that sparingly, and it makes more sense to have Andor kind of be that connect. But he's going to be the connection because obviously we know how his story ends in Rogue One. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they've already talked about. They have multiple seasons of Andor plucked out, and get this, they have the rumor that George Lucas is going to come out of Star Wars retirement and direct some of the Andor episodes.
One more match.
Yeah, one more match. And I don't know if it's just he came by for a cup of coffee, but the rumor is he had a big say in all the Obi-Wan stuff. And they got John Williams, who said, I'm not doing Star Wars anymore. He's coming back to do the Obi-Wan score. He's going to be doing their opening theme. So they're not going, which I love. Let me pull up his name. Vamp for a little bit. I got to pull up his name.
What are you looking up?
I'm looking up the guy who actually does all the new theme music. His name is Ludwig Göransson. So he does the theme for the Book of Boba Fett. He does the theme for Mandalorian. I think he does a great job as that. And he created his own vibe. But John Williams is that original Star Wars vibe, so they're bringing John Williams back for that. So you're going to get a little bit of John Williams. You're going to get a little bit of George Lucas. You're going to get a little bit closer to what was actually canon.
Yeah, I think if you put it out there in an ad that George Lucas is directing an episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, I think people are in.
Everyone's going to sign up for Disney Plus immediately.
Yeah, Renato said, just like, look at this chest of money. I know you said you're retired for John Williams, but look at this chest full of money. I wonder if they have like a Pirates of the Caribbean, like actually looking chest, and they actually just fill it with like gold and jewels and like stock options.
Right.
But I watched a ton of breakdowns on the Obi-Wan trailer, and I got very sad in a good way, not only for the Duel of the Fates, but I got a little choked up seeing young Luke Skywalker sitting there playing because it reminded me of Annie, little Annie, you're all grown up. What do you know? A Jedi. And then I was like, wow, because Jake Lloyd, as we know, he actually had personal problems. Him and Jar Jar Binks were basically harassed to the point where they talked about suicide, like the characters who played them, and now you have a whole generation that basically worship these films.
And the guy who played Jar Jar wasn't even in the movie.
No, he was just
It was just his voice, and they hated him because of his voice.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think it sucks because then I was like, now this, and I don't think it would ever happen anymore. But Jake Lloyd, I mean, he went to prison. I mean, they had like some serious.
Is he in prison?
He went to prison, yeah.
For what?
I don't even remember what he went to prison for.
I'm going to look it up.
But he had a lot of problems, and it stems from the harassment that he got for the prequels. So seeing that, it's just like, that's not going to happen to young Luke, right? So, but yeah, look it up to see. Honestly, Ludwig is his new favorite composer. Probably
Update,
not.
he was moved to a psychiatric facility in 2016.
Oh, man. See, that sucks, man. I mean, I don't know. That was totally unnecessary. Like he was a little kid, It's just like, but again, I mean, not that Hollywood has a great history of treating kids well. I mean, you can see the two Coreys. Basically, we know that they don't treat kids well, but this was fandom that drove them to this, and it sucks. And now here's the hot take: Would Jar Jar Binks get a pop if he showed up on one of these shows?
Yeah, if he showed up with Jedi ability.
Would he get a pop? He
confirms like the internet stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if he went dark side, yeah, no, Darth Bane, Darth Revan, those were actually all be good stories. And this is
so this is kind of hilarious. But no, it's not. It's a very sad story. But Jake Lloyd apparently went to jail after leading South Carolina police on a high-speed chase.
Really?
Right.
Now this is pod racing.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's
so. Why have they not made the Jake Lloyd story as a movie? What an ending that would be.
Yeah, that would suck. I feel like, I don't know if there's you're a real human being behind it. Hayden Christensen got a shit ton of heat for his role too, and now he's basically he's up there with Tobey Maguire coming back to Spider-Man. Like he's being like, holy shit, they're getting Hayden Christensen back. I wish there was a way that we can find Jake Lloyd and give him some peace to know that, hey, you might have had a generation that, were assholes to you, but you have this new generation that love little Annie.
They're gonna like him eventually. When he gets out of jail, he's gonna be greeted with a ticker tape parade.
Yeah, I hope so, man, because it's just like, for every, yeah, again.
Imagine you're in court though, and they introduce you, and it's like they're describing your crimes, and it's like Jake Lloyd from the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, and he was in Turbo Man. Exactly, Mike Holiday. He was in Turbo Man too. I mean, he's Hollywood royalty. He should be treated as such.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Maybe they'll turn it around.
Well, here's the thing. This, again, and to circle back to what I was saying, how this is the most important piece of Star Wars content that Disney ever created, because this isn't new. They're touching something that is considered holy grail, and they can't break this. If they wanted to play it safer, they can go with something new with an old flair, hence the Mandalorian, Grogu being, the same species as Yoda, but they weren't messing with something that's already well established. Like the Acolyte, I'm really psyched for, because now they can get into dark side stuff and not mess with that, because they have a history of messing up established characters. I mean, they had Luke, Han, and Leia. They had Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill on the same exact set for this trilogy, and we never got a shot of that triad of our youth together at the same time.
Why wouldn't you just film a shit ton of B-roll when they were there? Just film something with them all in the same shot.
One time, and
just to bank it, just because they're there.
Oh man, I don't know. I think they screwed up. So there's a risk when you start messing with this. They have a history of not knowing what to do with it. And here's the hot take. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it right here on the internet, and I can't take it back. Finn, Poe, and Rey are good characters that had bad stories. And Rey got it worse because not only did she have a bad story, she had a bad story with the supposed hidden agenda that actually affected legacy characters, and I think that's why she gets the most heat.
I think the sequel trilogies would have been fine if they would have just stuck to their original gimmick, which was, let's just remake the movies exactly the same. Because the first one was exactly the first. They should have just continued that.
Shot for shot.
Whether people
release the Finn cut.
Yeah, just continue with the plan and figure it out after. But they tried to swerve everything while things were in motion, and they just made a bunch of crap. Here's the thing, though, about the new Obi Wans, because you were talking about breaking an established character or whatever. The thing is, they got George Lucas involved to give it the rub, so they can just do whatever. And since his involvement gives them cover.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, George Lucas, remember, a big reason he sold Star Wars off is just like he knew he was just getting so much heat. Because he's just like, these guys are going to turn on you. I mean, you had people.
See, there was that movie, The People versus George Lucas.
Yes.
Some nerds made a documentary about being mad at George Lucas for making the prequels.
Yeah, exactly. He got a lot of heat too. And it's just like he made it seem like it was risky business. Renato blames Jar Jar Abrams. They should have just given the entire trilogy to Rian Johnson. Why didn't they give whoever... Probably more so Rian Johnson, because we know J.J. Abrams has a history of not knowing how to finish. He's not a finisher. He can establish something, but he can't finish it. Why didn't they just give the entire trilogy to one? This isn't hot tag filmmaking.
Which is weird, because even in the most common sense type of situation, say you're doing B2B marketing. You don't want 3 different directors to do your stuff. It's all going to look different, right?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you just book one guy for the whole thing and just stick with him?
Yeah. It absolutely his poor wife, he's not a finisher, man. No, but you're right. It's just like, why didn't you just I would have look, I don't full disclosure, I don't read any of the stuff that's like who's woke, who's not woke. I don't get into that stuff with Kathleen Kennedy. as a fan of the films, I saw what some of the people were talking about, and even the little things. And I told you this before. I'm a fan of Laura Dern, and she had to have seen Star Wars before. And she was about to do something. She said Godspeed instead of May the Force be with you. Come on, man. Know your audience. This isn't about there's Godspeed. This is May the Force be with you, and then do what you have to do. So maybe there was some weird agenda there. I don't know. But
don't only Force people say that though? You don't say that if you're not a Force user, do you?
Well, you can. I mean, it's just like a salutations.
Like if I said that to a Jedi, would he just like?
Yeah, and he'd say
roll his eyes.
Yeah, no, he would say, and also with you.
You can't control the Force at me. You can't. You have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, no, it's just like it is their way of saying, God bless you. It's their way of saying go in peace, whatever you want to call. But there's in that universe there is no Godspeed. It's May the Force be with you. So that one really stuck with me. But be that as it may, do you agree with me? Do you think Poe, Finn, and Rey, because they could show up in a future series, are they bad characters that just got? Are they a good characters that got a bad deal, or do you think they're bad characters?
No, they're fine. They're fine characters, and it's good actors in those roles. Here's my pitch. If who controls Star Wars? Kathleen Kennedy?
Kathleen Kennedy.
Here's my pitch. Just sequel boot the first one and pretend the second two don't exist. Problem solved. Just cut to 30 years later and somebody wants revenge, and the movie starts from there.
Wait, but then you'd have to admit that you're wrong, right? And that's not going to happen. Do studios admit they're wrong? I don't think so, right?
No, that's what sequel boots are. You just ignore the ones nobody liked.
Yeah, it was poor writing. There was a lot of stuff, but I mean, think about this. If I was just to pitch you a Star Wars movie, okay, I'm going to just take one character. There's this stormtrooper who was kidnapped as a child, forced to be a stormtrooper that is force sensitive. Period. That's the log line. Are you interested?
Sounds good. Sounds like it could be.
Yeah. Oh, what did I lose you in the cups? Did I lose you?
Don't know.
Oh, I can hear you though. But that sounds good, right? That's Finn. Like, how did you screw that up? And by the end, they never even addressed it. I mean, The Force Awakens was supposed to be him awakening, and I think we've veered off of the Obi Wan trailer, but I guess we'll circle back to it. But because this again, I guess we're making the pitch of why this piece of content is so important, because they've already established that they can mess up legacy characters, and they're kind of 50-50 with establishing their new characters, because they did not do a good justice by Finn, Rey, Poe, and you can even say Kylo Ren. I got no heat with him. Pull up your jeans. I don't care. Pull them all the way up. Whatever. I have no heat with Kylo Ren. I think his story could be a little bit more fascinating, but you can say their new characters they established are not that good at. They sold a lot of toys with BB-8, and the Mandalorian and Grogu, they hit it out of the park. But here's the difference. Had nothing to do with the sequel trilogy and everything to do with The Mandalorian?
Who's that?
Dave Filoni. He's basically the Padawan learner to George Lucas, so he has the rule book. We talk about this all the time when we're writing scripts or we're coming up with a story. You got to have a rule book, and then you got to stick to the rule book, or else the people are going to be like, you're not even playing by your rules anymore. WWE does this all the time. They don't even stick to their own rule book. They don't have time limits. Just like there's no DQ. AEW does it too. Just like the referee. The other day I saw the referee. It's just like he was watching somebody whip somebody, and then they pull their hair like, hey, watch the hair, but continue to whip them with the chain. Right? It's just like, what are you doing here? You got to stick to the rules. Dave Filoni sticks to the rules. That's why the Clone Wars work so well. That's why Rebels work so well. That's why the episodes that Dave Filoni did do for the Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian work so well. He sticks to the rule book.
These are definitely the best episodes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's the man. And he's doing all the Ahsoka series. But he's basically sat at the tree with George. He's the guy who literally would write episode after episode and pick George Lucas's brain about everything that happened in the Clone Wars. So Disney has him. Why do they want to just mess around and not use that? Because go back to the toxic fans that messed up Jake Lloyd's head and made Ahmed Best want to consider taking his life. Somehow Disney happened to read the internet that day and all of a sudden they're like, maybe we should steer away from this stuff. But then the next generation came up and like, what are you doing? That's my holy trilogy. I'm not an OT holy trilogy. I'm a PT holy trilogy. So this is really important for them to not F this up.
Yeah, and when it's coming to streaming too, it's like there's no box office to look at.
No.
It's just like whether the internet hates it, loves it, doesn't
Don't
matter.
know.
They're talking about it, and they're signing up for our service just to watch it and bitch about it on the internet.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And people and they're a very forgiving fan base. I mean, it's very similar to WWE, where it's a very forgiving fan base that you keep going back to it. You're Lucy. That bitch is going to pull the football away. That bitch is going to pull the football away. But you want to kick it one more time because that one time you do cook the football, it just feels so sweet.
But still, somebody's got to be a heel. And if you're like watching, you're watching the show, you hate it, you jump on the internet and bitch about how much you hate it. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's all right. At least you're talking about it.
Yeah, you're talking about
and
it.
you watched it.
Yeah. Mike said money means more than mythology to them. That's all. Wrong KPI for long-term retention. And yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, it was $4 billion to get Lucasfilms. They need to make that money back. They are still a board that's doing it. And look, it is possible to make money and have good storytelling at the same time. But for some reason, Hollywood, where the lands of make-believe and dreams come true, like half the population of that place gets the wrong people in charge. How does that happen? It's just like because the creative people, they don't really want to be in charge. They just want to tell their stories. And why can't you find that one person that'd be, and it happens sometimes, right? Spielberg, you get that godfather or godmother, like, yeah, I'm going to just empower you to tell your story. But that doesn't always happen because they're like, no, well, we have our agenda. We want to slip into toys and stuff. And a lot of filmmakers can navigate that. And I think Dave Filoni, with that product, he can navigate that. So if George Lucas isn't on this, or Filoni has to be, I don't even think Jon Favreau, because the Book of Boba Fett's, Jon Favreau wrote all those episodes. He wrote all of those. So
I think they use wrote loosely, I bet.
You think?
I think so. I mean, they seem really thrown together, so I bet there was maybe. Well, I don't know, but I'm sure somebody typed out a screenplay. But I bet there was like an outline. Jon Favreau yelled an outline to his assistant while he was in the shower. Shout
out to Josh at the Den of Nerds because he's like, "What did you mean that George Lucas is involved? Did he come by and fart on the script and leave?" I mean, it is very possible. I mean, just by getting that endorsement, and at the same time, they could be using it as a. Can we get a shot of the close-up so you can see Gato shaking her tail feather? Star Wars gets everybody all fired up around here, and look at her. She's shaking that tail. She knows what we're talking about. She's trying to calm me down. She's got the chewy purr, trying to calm things down. But I just getting all fired up, man.
I like that folks can also see you've got 3 computers stacked on each other. That's how high tech our show is.
Yeah, well, because we're high tech. You see that we play with words.
Your angle.
Low tech means I would just bring it down one stack. That's just how we roll it. But yeah, I'm still excited. The trailer got me all fired up. I almost fell down the stairs, left my other job because we got 3 jobs. I left my other job, almost ran down the stairs to go watch it because I wanted to turn on the Bose surround sound. I wanted to feel it, and I felt it, and I was psyched for Duel of the Fates. I was super psyched. And here's a good question. Let's talk about this. Mike brought it up. Is Star Wars the heel franchise to Marvel's babyface?
Yeah. I mean, oh shit, wrong shot. Hey, danger. I think that they're definitely going to be competitive to be. They're in the same house, but they're going to be competitive to be the top franchise.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and Kevin Feige, what's been their I mean, he does have a Star Wars trilogy that they pulled aside just for him, and that's going to be really interesting. Or you think you think they watched our video, and they're going to give you a white Darth Vader?
The white Darth Vader.
You think so?
Got to use that,
right? Because we had the Star Wars crossover with Marvel that we made. Maybe they're like, shit, that's actually a really good idea. Get Feige on it. Can you? Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'll give you a trilogy. I'll give you 3 of them.
Darth Vader, but all white.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. But yeah, I don't know. Marvel has been a babyface. What has been their misstep so far? Ralph Boner? Is that
I think
other than Boner?
I think part of their misstep right now is they're just making too many fucking movies at once. It's too much going on at once. Slow it down. I mean, and I think they've that I don't know. I feel like their movies are becoming less and less events. You know?
Yeah.
And now it's just like the next this month's Marvel movie. You know, let's go see it. But I mean, they're still making a shit ton of money. So what the hell do I know?
Quarterly movies and then quarterly TV shows, like eight total. Like
I don't think their
shows
shows thus far have boosted their movies at all.
No. Well, I think Loki's going to be well, Doctor Strange is going to establish that with Loki. But either way, they are the golden child of the Disney toy chest right now to Star Wars, right? I wonder if you stack the money like I stack laptops, who has the higher stack of money? Is it Marvel or is it Star Wars?
I think it's definitely
Marvel, right?
now,
Just
yeah.
because they have just more, they also have more of it. Even though, like you said, Force Awakens is the #1 film of all time.
There's like
domestically,
30
but
Marvel movies and there's like 9 Star Wars movies.
and Disney doesn't care because guess what? They're laughing. The #1 domestic film of all time, Star Wars Force Awakens, they own it. The #1 international worldwide box office is always toggling between Avatar and Avengers Endgame of whoever had the re-release to just kind of nudge it. She's just chilling.
This is good for like YouTube searches.
Yeah, we
People like cats, so might as well just
cats.
use it. With.
Yeah, cat
Continue
videos.
on about Star Wars though.
But so they just toggle between Avatar and Avengers Endgame as the #1. But Disney doesn't care because they own all those too. Like, subscribe, share to the cat. But yeah, sorry. I don't know. So I think Star Wars has potential to be a heel just because I don't think they found their voice yet. Well, I think they found it, but they don't recognize that they found it because they found their voice when they basically said The Mandalorian saved Star Wars. Right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
After the sequel trilogy. And this was, if you guys, we're big fans of Star Wars theory on here. I'm a big fan of Den of Nerds. They do Nerd Theory on Tuesday nights, and they got into it yesterday. Like it was awkward. They were about to start a fight.
They're fighting about Star Wars?
They were fighting about Star Wars, and it came back that Star Wars theory was saying that he's tired of Disney focusing on nothing but the sequel trilogy. And Josh, he's like, wait a minute. What are you talking about? Like, what sequel trilogy content has there been? And the only thing that he basically said was the hotel. I guess it's the theme park. But he's like, well, but what about series? Like, they ain't doing shit. Like, we just got Mandalorian, we got Boba Fett, we're getting Obi Wan. They're not doing anything that's technically sequel trilogy related. And dude, it was like awkward. I was like, oh shit, is he just gonna end the stream? And then afterwards, he's like, I went and worked out. I thought about it, but I think Disney's kind of cutting bait a little bit on the sequel trilogy, a little bit. Like, or they're trying to pivot. And once they had The Mandalorian, they kind of went with it, but then they kind of fumbled with the Book of Boba Fett. So they're still trying to find themselves. They're like that awkward teenager just like realizing like, wow, I got big pecs. My legs are my feet are long. I don't know what to do with them. And they're just kind of stumbling all over themselves.
Yes. Also, I was going to add something. Oh, my sister's on. Look, say hi to Michelle.
Oh, yes. What's up, Michelle?
I forgot what I was going to say. Keep going.
This is a good segue into my release the cat butthole cut of the movie Cats. Yes. I haven't seen the original one, but if I was to watch, I watched Cats on Broadway, but I have not watched the film, but I do want to see the butthole cut because there is a butthole cut, but we can talk about that. That's a whole nother show. But, talking about butts. Internet loves butts. But we were talking about Obi Wan Kenobi. Sorry, the cat hole kind of threw off my train of thought. So.
All right, cut back to the cat then.
Oh. No, I thought you were going to say something and I cut you off to talk about butts. No? Oh, okay. So I was just saying Disney kind of fumbled with Book of Boba Fett, so now they've really drew a line in the sand. Like, shit, we didn't fully deliver on Boba Fett, and now they're taking probably the most important character in the Star Wars saga that's not named Skywalker, and we're going to do a whole series about him for 6 episodes.
They've been working on it for a while, though. I bet they planned that one out. Boba Fett felt like it was just thrown together last minute. Like I said, I think they booked that one with Robert Rodriguez in mind, just because he could do it in a hurry and fill the gap in between shows.
Yeah, the Danger gets the shot, right? Just like, hey, let's just us talk, but then just have Danger on the shot. Yeah, there we go. So she's just relaxing as we're ranting about Star Wars. Like, why is not Dave Filoni in charge? Why would you not? You have the Padawan learner of George Lucas. Somebody needs to be like, guys, people change, times change. It maybe play Rocky. If I can change, you can change. Anybody can change. The internet has changed, and now they like the prequel trilogy. And Dave Filoni is all about, the learning tree and the prequel trilogy of George Lucas. So go back, give him the whole thing. Favreau knows that. Notice when anytime they bring up Jon Favreau, he's with Dave Filoni. He's not all of a sudden be like, oh, I came up with this. He knows where to hang his hat on the Star Wars deal. And he just cut he's getting financial. He is being creative and getting paid to be creative.
I remembered what I was going to say earlier, which was you were telling me about Den of Nerds and Star Wars Theory getting into a fight about what the content.
Oh, sorry. No, don't leave. Sorry. Here, have some Oomph Cola.
Anyway, my point was I still don't get what they were fighting about exactly. One said that they had made sequel content and one said the other hadn't.
Yeah, no, they were disagreeing that Disney was focusing only on the sequel trilogy. And Josh was saying, no, that's not true. They're not focusing on the sequel trilogy at all. And Theory was saying, yes, that's all they focus on. So what do you think? What says you?
Well, I think they're trying. Initially, they were probably focusing on one thing at a time, but they're just getting into the point now where they can start focusing on like multiple things.
Yeah.
There's still only been one Star Wars property at a time at this point.
Yeah. No, they've never had.
But they're trying to ramp it up where there's going to be multiple things going on. Hopefully it'll lead to a movie. I feel they're going to hold off on a movie for a while.
I think they're tiptoeing back into the movie waters. Because the only thing that I've heard sequel trilogy, I saw what Josh was saying, and I agree. I don't think that they're doing anything other than the theme parks and the rides. But I also see what Theory's saying, because Mandalorian seems to be building a history that's going to lead up to somehow the Palpatine has returned, and it's going to be they were cloning and getting Grogu's blood to bring it back to Exegol, and that's how. So so in a way they're that's the connective tissue. So in a way they're both right. That's my take. In a way they were both.
Which two are right?
Josh and Theory. I think they were both right, because there's no specific sequel trilogy product that they're working on right now, series or films that we know of that's in the public eye. But I think what Theory was saying is that's all they focused on for the past 7 years with the sequel trilogy. And it can be argued that The Mandalorian is leading up to connecting to the sequel trilogy. So that is sequel trilogy material, because that is stuff that happened after Star Wars. But the only thing that had Boba Fett, which connects, the original trilogy as well, when Boba's connected to Jango, so it is tying it all together. So they are trying to make it as cohesive as possible. They literally just need to get the the It's Always Sunny meme and just have somebody in there in the back with the threads basically trying to connect this tissue. Because in the end, when people used to tell me before the sequel trilogy, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? I would say they're all my favorite movie because it's one long story. I don't look at them as separate. So
the sequel trilogy also connects to all the other ones too, right? So they're all one long story.
But now it's a little tougher to say that, because it's like there's a lot of flaws. But then back then there was a lot of flaws. There was a lot of flaws too that you were just able to overlook, because somehow, you kept the essence of George in there, where there was no essence of George there with the sequel trilogy at all, because they released his treatment. And why wouldn't you use his treatment? You trusted him enough to buy $4 billion worth of his assets. Take the freaking 30 pages and use that as the outline. Why wouldn't you just use that? You got it.
I mean, I don't know. I think if you handed some dude like sitting in an exec chair at the studio, what studio is it? 20th Century Fox?
Yeah.
At the time, or it was Disney at the time. And it's just here's an original script by George Lucas, and it's just like, I got a better idea. Why don't we just make the first one again?
Well, I see where you're saying. Yeah, you could go that route, right?
It's just they loved the first one. Why would we do it different?
Well, it's argued that Force Awakens is that, right?
It's exactly that. That's what I'm saying. They should have just stuck with their plan of remaking the films exactly like the original trilogy.
So, would you watch? So, the only rumor that there was a Rey. There was talks of a Rey series where Rey was going to teach a new generation of Jedi about the Jedi. Would you watch that? Like, is Rey? What's her last name again?
Skywalker.
Skywalker. Oh man, would you watch that, or does she have enough heat? Like, would people be like, "Oh no, screw that"? Or if she showed up on screen, would she get a pop?
If she showed up in a cameo, yeah, I don't think a Rey series would do well at all.
And they were talking about training a new generation of Jedi. Can you go to the close up again, or can we get? We might have the butthole cut finally. There you go, Renato. Don't say we never gave you anything. You never got Cats the butthole cut, but you got Dos Incredibles Live the butthole cut. Like, subscribe, and share to that. I'm not going to move, but she's like totally flat on her back. And she's just relaxing. There it is, man. That's all we got. That's internet gold here. They told us if we go on the internet, we should show butts. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
well, there we go.
That's what the internet was invented for initially.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, I only go to YouTube to watch some tail. Well, did you see Dos Incredibles Live last night? All they did was have tail. Look at that. I don't know. Are we killing this topic? Do we want to?
What's your final thoughts on the Obi Wan Kenobi trailer?
Did you give me The Office? Squeeze my arm and tell me to go home, and that's it. Final thoughts. Let's go home. Obi Wan trailer. A thumbs up. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna watch it probably at 3:00 in the morning for the first one.
When does it come out?
May 25th. We're 2.5 months away.
Sure, I'll watch it. It's on Disney Plus. I'll watch it. It's cool. I mean, like I said, it looked more like the movies than any of the shows have looked. So I think it's gonna be
cool. This is and JJ said it. There's so much Star Wars lore, and they're stuck on the Skywalkers. The Skywalker, 3-6, the Skywalker saga had the 9. This is technically going to be like a 9A or 10 because this is going to be just as important as any of the other Skywalker stuff there. But he's right. I think after this, no matter what, they just need to. That's probably got to be it, and you need to leave the Skywalker stuff in the past and really focus on the future of Star Wars, which is basically we know is going to be the Mandalorian. And is the Mandalorian Din Djarin or Grogu? Stop. You're both right. It's going to be both. Hot take right here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, Gato. I scared your butthole away. All right. Well, we're all fired up. I'm going to let you get this second one fired up. Or do you want a beer first?
Yeah, let's do a beer.
Want to have a beer?
Shall we go to a commercial?
Yeah, let's go to our sponsor, Stroh. We'll be right back.
Want a beer? Mm-hmm. This is really an interesting six-pack. See how it's completely covered? See the ends? Covered. Mm-hmm. That's so light won't get in. Light can spoil beer. Mm-hmm. And this is good beer, so they don't want light messing around with it.
Well, in that case, why don't we turn off the lights?
All right, we're back.
Cool. So we have a few new people watching right now. Stroh's doesn't know they're our sponsor yet.
Please do not tag Stroh's in this video.
We don't know how to tell them yet that we're using their commercials. So, but here's a bit of news. Stroh's is not the weird beer of the today. But I guess that's a good time to throw our sting for weird beer. Oh, it is there. Okay.
It is there.
I need a bigger eye hole.
Sorry, it's still audio problem, but we'll get that sorted out.
All right, cool. So here is our weird beer. This is from Belching Beaver Companies. It's SD Besties. We'll got that on the close-up there. SD Besties. Look at that right there. Sweet artwork, for sure.
What is going on in that photo right there?
Yeah, that is looking really
It's like
good.
a mermaid and a beaver having ice cream cones.
It's the Belching Beaver. Oh, man, we had just a perfect yawn there. There she is. You can endorse this beer. Oh, they haven't tweeted anything since 2017, so we should be okay. So, SD Besties, it is a 8.7. It's an 8.7 we're hitting with, so it's a hitter. Here's the thing, you should be a little nervous because check out that can. What does that remind you of?
What does the can remind me of?
Yeah. It's a past beer that we've had on here.
I don't remember.
Remember the one with the van and it was sherbet flavored
Oh,
beer?
smell the van? No,
Smell
but
the
look,
van.
this is a Neapolitan Imperial Milk Stout.
Oh, it's a Neapolitan?
Neapolitan Milk Stout. So that means it's like Neapolitan ice cream
Oh,
flavored
okay. So
stout.
we're going to vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry flavor. I kind of like that flavor when it starts melting. So, now she's in the top shot. Look at this. So this is going to be kind of like, remember in 3 Men and a Baby when they thought there was like a baby behind the little boy standing behind the curtain?
Yeah, the rumor is he jumped out the window there.
Yeah, I feel it. And then it came back and it was a rifle. So I feel like that's what Gato is right now. Podcat is just like, she's just like really in deep thought. So let's see what she does. Let's see how she replies. Let's get Senor Pancho in his place. We'll pop the beer and then we're going to be talking about, we're going to drink some beer. Is she going to drink the beer? We'll see. Then we'll start talking about the Batman. But let's pop this beer first. Here we go. Gato, what do you think? Oh, she's swiffing it. All right, I'm going to actually do an unorthodox pour because I think she's going to drink it. And if we can get a cat drinking beer on YouTube, I think we're millionaires.
I don't think she'll drink beer. I've tried to feed her beer.
I don't know. Get her in the close-up. Let's see. See if she does it. Yeah? Maybe? Nope. All right, well, Senor Pancho's there in the close-up. If you see that, I'm going to give that one a pour. It's dark, so it definitely seems like... Oh, she's thinking about it. See if she's sniffing it. What do you think, Danger?
We can tag this video, Cat Drinks Beer.
Cat drinks beer. Oh, all right, she's leaving. All right, well, I don't know what we go for intern mode.
There go half our viewers.
All right, here I come. I'm heading your way, bringing you your share.
Oh, wait, commercial.
I'd sure like another Stroh. Oh, wait. Alex? 2 cold Strohs. Where do you see this? Just open the refrigerator. Just open one bottle. Just open the other. Now he's pouring yours. Now he's pouring mine. Alex, you better be drinking your water.
From one beer lover to another, Stroh's.
All right.
All right, we're back with beer in hand. Is there anything that you noticed about the can now that you have it on your side of the studio?
Yes. Okay. So it says, we've always had a tight bond with Coronado Brewing, and we wanted to celebrate with a special collaboration. SD Besties is our take on a liquid Neapolitan treat with notes of strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla that you'll want to share with your BFF. We hope when you drink this beer, you'll think of simpler times when it was all about meeting up with your bestie for some damn good times.
Wow.
Cheers, Tom. Contains lactose. You're not lactose intolerant, right?
No, I'm very tolerant towards lactose. I'm pretty much tolerant towards anything, including lactose. All right, here we go. Ready? Cheers. Cheers, peeps. Cheers, crew. Cheers to it. Let's toast to Danger's butthole. She just made us a millionaire. Cheers.
Change your butthole.
Salud.
You taste Neapolitan? That's pretty good.
Absolutely, I do.
You're not like a hop guy, but what do you think of stouts now? We've been drinking a lot of stouts lately?
Well, I think we've gotten really lucky. We haven't really had an IPA that literally like punches you in the mouth.
I don't think
Like
IPAs are
stouty.
a thing. You don't like IPAs, really, right?
No.
But what do you think of the stouts?
Stouts I'm okay with. Like I'm a dark beer guy. So I like the shout out to our friend Brendan in Ireland, but I like what you would call the Irish milkshake. I like it thicker than a Snicker. For sure. 100%. So I'm good, and this one is great. Actually, you do taste vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry at the same time.
Yeah, you can taste it in there.
This is the freaking goober grape of beer?
What? Goober grape?
You never had goober grape?
Is that another Central Iceland, New York thing?
Maybe it is. Goober grape is just like, you like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? We're going to save you the trouble and just put them both in the same jar. And they would put a stripe of peanut butter and a stripe of grape, stripe peanut butter, grape, and it just tasted great.
Yeah, I remember that. I knew it was called Goober grape, though.
It was called goober grape. Yeah. I was like, oh, shit, they didn't have that here in San Antone? Well, now she's on the other side. Yeah, let her...
They had I know they had the peanut butter and jelly mixed jars things. I don't know what they were called, but they were called Goober grapes.
Goober grape. I'm going to pull it up and get it on the close-up there. Goober grape. And we'll get a nice picture of it. What we really should do is find their commercial on YouTube, right? And see if they'll...
Goober grape commercial?
Yeah, there's got to be, right? I think it later came out they did have a strawberry version. But, oh, never mind. It's Smuckers. Don't do it. I heard they're Smucks. But check it out.
Oh, I see why you call it Goober grape, though. It does say Goober grape on the jar.
You got that on
This
the
is
close-up?
exciting content.
Let's see. Goober grape. So eventually they did have a strawberry one, but it was just, yeah, it was good, man. But I had no idea it was Smuckers, though. Or I don't remember it was, but that is like the Saturday morning cereal of peanut butter and jelly whip. Like a lot of people talk about fluffer nutters, and I'm not, and don't go there with your dirty minds when I say fluffer nutters. I'm talking about the peanut butter and fluff sandwiches made famous by, who's the boss? Tony Danza. That's right. He made a world famous fluffer nutter.
Tony Danza made fluffer nutter sandwiches?
Well, no, his character on Who's the Boss did. He made it for Alyssa Milano. Speaking of fluffer nutters, she held up really well too.
I don't remember.
I don't know where we're going with this.
So what do you think of the beer?
The beer's great. The beer is great. I taste strawberry, I taste vanilla, I taste chocolate, and I taste stout. And I don't taste the lactose, which is fine because I'm tolerant towards it.
Solid review.
Good stuff. Yeah, I don't know, but beyond that, they told a great story on the side of the can. I feel like I got a little bit choked up there almost because they were just talking about simpler times. And I'm like, man, I'm sitting there thinking, we need bomb pop beer. Because if you want to talk about a simpler time, let's talk about chasing lightning bugs and eating a bomb pop popsicle as it drips down your arm. There's your Neapolitan. That's the Neapolitan of popsicles. Blue ice, white ice, red ice. It's freaking red, white, and blue ice. And you get it every summer.
I was never a fan of the bomb pops. I always found the shape of them awkward.
It was, speaking of thicker and a Snicker, but do you remember having the one that you'd work for it and you'd get a gumball in it?
Yeah, that was generally like the Ninja Turtle ice cream or they had the Pink Panther ice cream, right? They had gumball eyes.
What am I? The garbage picking, field goal kicking Philadelphia Phenomenon. That's right. What was his name? And it was Tony in who's
Tony Maselli.
Tony Maselli. That's right. And Angela. Yeah, and the frisky mom who's. Yeah, she was always wanting to get some. Mona, that's right. But yeah, the world famous fluffer nutter. That's my Tony. Is that a Tony Danza?
Let me try that. Tony Danza.
My world famous fluffer nutter. I almost got it mixed up with my Taz impressions. That's cool. We got a dog collar match. Hook should be in that dog collar match. It should come with a free water bottle. Freaking dog collar match, and you're not giving away water bottles?
What exactly does "Who's the Boss" mean as a title? What are they implying? Angela's the boss, right?
That's what you think. But he worked for her, but she wanted his work. You know
But
what
she's clearly the boss.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't really a question. But maybe because maybe the kids were the boss.
I guess. Is that what they're implying?
Yeah. There were times I lost a dream or two. Because he was a baseball player too, right?
He's a former baseball player who ended up as a babysitter.
Living in Connecticut, which is expensive, I can tell you that.
Classic sitcom pitch.
Yes.
Former baseball player becomes house sitter.
Yeah. He was 80s, man. He was so 80s, everything about it. What was the movie? She's Got to Have It or something he was in it? Because you thought for sure he was going to make the leap to the big screen, but he never did. Because he was huge in Taxi, too. He was a boxer in Taxi. He's a real sports guy. He's a real sports guy. Maybe he should have been a wrestler and been in a dog collar match with Hook.
He was really good in Cannonball Run where he drove that limo with the orangutan. Oh, yeah. That was a good role.
Why do they always have orangutans? It's just like, you can't have an 80s movie without an orangutan.
That's the only monkey that can actually give the finger.
That can do it. Right Turn, Clyde. That was always good. I loved Right Turn, Clyde.
I think it was just the same orangutan all through the 80s, but they taught him how to give the finger very early in his life so he could flick people off. And
it was always the same orangutan.
He became a star because of that.
Yeah. Those were good movies. Every which way but loose, and any which way you can. I mean, that was just talking about bare-knuckled fist fights. Good stuff. I don't know. Is this all going to be part of the beer segment?
All right, we can hyperspace to the next thing.
Yeah, let's hyperspace in that so we can keep drinking beer, and we're going to talk about the Batman. You know, we were in space, and we're clear, we came back from space, so that hyperspace is bringing us back to ground level because the Batman, our Bats, is a ground level superhero now. No crazy, because DC is known for having their gods among men, where this is just a rich guy in hockey gear, right?
Especially coming off of the last Batman, who was fighting gods from space with a car.
Tell me, do you bleed?
He fought Superman with a robot suit, so it was like the biggest Batman ever. And then this guy is literally, he just carries his suit in a backpack and walks the streets.
Yeah, it was very street level. So what's your first, before we jump into full, did you like it?
I liked it fine. I thought the movie as a film, it's cool. I like the aesthetics, but I mean, overall, I thought it was good. Well executed, well made movie. I thought Arbats pulls off Batman. I like what he does with Batman. Everything is great about it. Technically, I feel like I feel about this movie the same way I felt about Joker, where it's like it's not just being a movie. It's doing an impression of another movie.
Right.
Whereas Joker was trying to be Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, this is trying to be Seven and Silence of the Lambs.
Right. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. It was a little bit of both of that because I couldn't put my finger on the movies. Like it was for Joker, it's clear as day, right? He was being Taxi Driver and, you felt that Scorsese feel. But this was remember I told you it was it's kind of Zodiac Killer, but it's kind of Nighthawks. It's kind of like To Live and Die in LA. This could be any, if he just took off his cowl, he's just trying to capture this crazy serial killer. But it's very ground level. I mean, because he's, Riddler's not killing people with anything that you would consider funny, right? With the carpet lifter, killing people with a carpet lifter. And then he was just doing he thought it was funny to basically tape this guy's face, so all the holes, and then he put some rats in there. So I mean, it was dark. And I don't mean dark as in the dark content, which it was dark.
It was super dark.
It was dark, and
it was super dark. I was so
shit.
The scene with the Batmobile was extremely dark.
Yeah.
When you're showing, like, it's like your biggest set piece where you're introducing the Batmobile. It's a brand new car, and you couldn't see anything.
No, you couldn't see shit. And, you know, and Mike's on, so he's still on. Was like, I heard, you know, the Pacific Northwest get a lot of rain. There was a lot of rain in this. Like, I always thought Gotham was in New York, but clearly it's not, because that was a lot of rain. It was a lot of rain, right?
Well, I think it adds to the ending, right? Because they get flooded, so probably the rain was.
Yeah, I just felt like I was getting wet.
Man, I don't have a sound effect for that.
I know. Is that a wet noise?
But yeah, I think all the rain is intentional because it ends with the flooding, right? So the rain was building up all week from Halloween till they broke the dam.
Damn. Yeah, and that was so here's kind of what got me that I don't, and tell me if you're wrong. I feel like the bad guy won in this, right?
Yeah, he did win.
Sorry, let me type this out. But I feel like he won. Like, what did Batman stop?
He didn't stop anything, essentially. Man, I didn't think about it that way. No, because Riddler's plan went to fruition. He blew up the dam, flooded the town. I guess what did Batman stop? Nothing.
No,
he didn't help at all.
It's just like and it didn't. I don't know. Like, everybody that the Riddler wanted to kill, other than Bruce Wayne, died. And it could be Mark. Did he want to? Did we throw the spoiler warning up? Should we have thrown the spoiler warning? There we go. But I don't know. I guess we're more than a week in. So, do you think the Riddler knew who Batman was? You think he was just trolling him there at the end?
No, I don't think he did.
You don't? Think
I think Carmine Falcone knew.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when he dies, he gives him a look, and he's just like, because remember, he's got that whole part where he gives a speech about his dad saving his life, and he's like, I remember you watching from the stairs above the whole time.
Right.
And he gives him that last look when he's dying, and I think he knew Bruce was Batman.
Oh, that's interesting. I never really thought of that. Maybe he knew who that was, but yeah, I guess you're right. It could be that. I don't know. I feel like Riddler did know it was him, but I mean, I just felt like the whole thing of just like, is a riddle as funny if everybody knows the answer? Like, I feel like he's the kind of this type of villain, which is basically a domestic terrorist. It would kind of like see that as like a power card. So instead of using it and just telling people just to troll them, like Joker's an agent of chaos. If Joker knew who it was, it could be argued that he would reveal that Batman and Bruce Wayne are the same person before the Riddler would. And I don't think the Joker would either. I think they would try to use it as power over him. But my point was, Batman didn't stop anybody that wasn't supposed to die from getting killed. But were we supposed to be okay with that because they were all corrupt? Well, no, I take that back. Him and Commissioner Gordon stopped that, stopped Catwoman from pushing that corrupt cop over the side of the building.
Here's the thing. The movie is over when Riddler turns himself in, when he allows himself to be caught. That's the end of the movie, essentially. This whole part with the flooding and the Gotham Square Garden. GSG.
Yeah.
Just felt tacked on. I did like this whole scene. I thought it was a good scene. But it essentially ends at that point. Carmine Falcone gets shot. The Riddler's captured. He's in jail. Mystery over.
The plan worked.
Mystery's over. But then it's like Riddler's like, oh, by the way, no, there's a whole additional thing that this executive said we should put in the movie. We need another action scene to just close it out with a bit. Because, like, if you notice, that first 2 hours or 2.5 hours, whatever it is, Batman does, like, not much cool Batman shit, right? He just, like, he punches some folks.
He's a big puncher.
Puncher.
Can't stop now.
He doesn't really know karate or anything like that. He's just punching people as hard as he can.
Yeah.
He doesn't use his grappling hooks in exciting ways. He just kind of grapple hooks up, right? And that's it. But when you get to that closing scene in the square guard, he's fucking swinging around and taking drugs. He takes like some adrenaline shots and stuff like that.
Well, that's the rumor is that's the Bane stuff that, and they're leading into Bane, because Bane was a big steroid abuser, that super steroid, and Batman kind of shot that adrenaline into him there. But you're right. He didn't do anything really. But remember, and I think it was very forgivable in this one because this was rookie Batman. This was year 2 Batman. Like even when he used his flying squirrel suit, he got wrecked when he jumped off the building. Like he didn't even know how to use it. So maybe it's just he hasn't really. So I feel like that was kind of forgivable. He was a big door knocker too. He was into knocking on doors, and then he's like, "Do you know who I am?" I thought that was funny.
Yeah, he just go to the club where the gangsters hang out and knock on the door.
Yeah,
that's weird.
It's like, do you know who I am? What I did like, and I should preface that I did also enjoy the film. I feel like I would have enjoyed this better if it was a 4-episode series, though. Full disclosure, I told you I went and saw it the second time. I'm like, I'm trying to decide if it was too long or not, and then I realized it wasn't too long, but I think it would have played better as a series.
I thought it was fine. It was long enough, I think, to get plenty of story in there.
Yeah, they got tons of story.
I don't really need an extra hour of that whole thing. I thought it was stylish. It went fast. It didn't feel like 3 hours. Even on the second viewing. I think this is the best Catwoman thus far.
She was Zoe Kravitz. Yeah, clap for Zoe Kravitz. I thought she was great. I was a huge fan of Zoe Kravitz for this. She looked good. She knew the part. She's the whole thing. I got a thing for straight. I guess that's because we said this. This is not a fun movie, and there wasn't a ton of laughs, but there was a laugh. The laugh there was just like, you got a lot of cats. That was just like so random.
She's got the best walk of any of the Catwomen thus far.
Yeah, she has the cat.
She's got the cat walk.
Yeah,
down.
She has the Eartha Kitt vibe, right? And I don't know if you were. I forgot the other one. I think of Eartha Kitt, but I don't know. She had it. She nailed it, and I liked it. She has a thing for strays. Maybe she's just a big milk drinker, but she did a really good job.
What do you think of the Bat voice in this one? I was realizing that Robert Pattinson did something very different, right? Remember we had Christian Bale did the whole like, you're wearing hockey pants, and then Batfleck had he had like a microphone or something.
Yeah, his was a voice modulator,
suit.
Right?
I think Michael Keaton he didn't really do a crazy voice, but he like tried to like talk tough or something like that,
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson is totally he whispers the whole movie.
So he's in
Batman whispers.
Yeah, I guess it was a little bit more in whispers. I was okay with it. I thought he did I was one of the very few that was not concerned with him because I feel like the internet, Twitter, or whatever, every time they've been concerned with casting, they've been wrong. And the Heath Ledger thing really woke me up to that one because Michael Keaton, remember all the hate letters that no one wanted him. I was never worried about Pattinson. I knew he was going to do a good job with it, and I liked his take of it. So if he wanted to go with like the whispering route, so you really, I guess if you're whispering, that's his way of disguising his voice, right? But I was okay with the whispers.
No, the whispers were fine. I thought it was really cool. I thought that was an interesting take, and not only that, but he also walks slower than any other Batman. He walks extremely slow every time he's got the suit on.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and they added that scene in the trailer, but it was definitely one of the coolest shots, right? Walking upside down from the fire. That was a really good shot, and it was the slow walk. I liked his creeping out of the darkness, and it was always the slow walk of just like not knowing what to expect. But again, remember, this was year 2 Batman, so not everybody knew who he was. And I wonder if there was any pretenders. Now, clearly, they knew enough that he said, right, this symbol in the sky is not only an alert for me, but it's a warning for everybody else. And those people knew who it was. But then, like, the gang of thugs with the face painted, they're like, who the hell are you supposed to be? They weren't 100% clear that that's Batman, except the guy with the half face. He was the only one that he looked up to the sky. He's like, oh shit. And that guy, ironically, plays Tim Drake in Titans, who future will become a Robin. I don't know if that's associated in this film or not, because I don't know if they tie that together, because there's a different Batman in Titans.
Sidebar: those that gang at the beginning in the opening scene. The opening scene is really good, by the way.
Yeah.
But they're Joker gang. Did you notice that?
I felt like they were
They've
Joker
got the Joker
gang.
faces on.
Yeah, and their faces were painted, and now I guess it really drove it home that Joker was captured in the end. So did Batman capture Joker in year one? Yeah, of him,
Something
of
like
him being
that's
Batman.
going on. Yeah, but we already have an established Joker who exists.
Well, we have a couple different shows, and to me, and the ending scene, obviously they hint that that's Joker's, and I don't know if they're going to base it on the comic book. What is it, like the year of jokes and riddles and stuff, where they actually, but they've always had that, right? The '60s Batman, where we learned all about shark repellent, they had the four, right? Catwoman, Penguin, Joker, and Riddler. Those were his four. So they had all four in this one. So I kind of dug that. But it's risky business to have anything with Joker right now, just because Joaquin Phoenix made such a huge splash with that. And it was basically really risky for him, even as good of an actor as he is, for him to kind of touch what Heath Ledger did. And not only he did it, two actors won freaking an Oscar for playing Joker. So that's a lot of pressure for the actor who plays in the Eternals to be the Joker. So I don't know if I'm ready for another Joker.
I don't want any more Jokers. Just save the Joker for the finale or something. I'm bored of Joker. It's done. I think the next movie should have Mr. Freeze or like some other character that a lot of folks don't know about. They've done Joker a bunch of times now. Joaquin Phoenix, like you said, 2 actors have won Oscars playing the Joker. Just don't do Joker again. And maybe later, but just don't do it now.
Yeah.
There's plenty other like villains you can pick from.
What is the word that he uses in Peacemaker when he's just like, Batman has a cavalcade of arch enemies or whatever? But yeah, there's plenty. Mr. Freeze supposedly is the rumored to be Matt Reeves' favorite.
I think that's a great idea.
So I'd like to see.
I'm terrified of
My
the
name
cold
is
now.
Freeze. Learn it well. It's the sound of your doom. I would like to see that. I'd like to see Poison Ivy.
A realistic freeze guy that can freeze you with some kind of ray gun?
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
I do cryotherapy every week, and there's the thought of that, like, wow, if I stay in here too long or a piece of my skin touches this, I can literally get frostbite. That's terrifying. And if somebody shot a cryotherapy machine at you, it would be crazy. So I'd like to see that. Mike asked, how's your feelings on the evolution from the symbol of vengeance to the symbol of hope? Was that clear to you?
Yeah, I mean, he says it, right, in the ending voiceover.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good arc for, Batman and story, because, generally in a Batman film, he's just Batman the whole movie, and that's it, and he has adventures and fights folks. I like that they tried to give him an arc in this movie and say he learned something by the end,
Yeah.
But like you said, he didn't save anything. But I guess that's
No.
part of the learning process.
Yeah, no, I told you, it was like he had to be a hero after the villain succeeded. Then he had to figure out how to be a hero, and I guess that's where the hope goes. I was okay with it. I think it was pretty clear, because if you ever hear any kind of like, if you had anger towards somebody and you know that there's always a bigger fish, talking about Qui-Gon Jinn, like if you get your revenge, something else is going to happen, or you're not going to know when to. I think it was clear that I think the whole beating the crap out of these guys and pretending they're, the people that shot his parents, and he realizes that there's always going to be something else, and it's not going to give me the peace I want. So I could see that. But I was okay with it. I think we need to get away with, because here's the risk that they're running right now. With each iteration of Batman, do you notice it's getting darker and darker and darker and more realistic? And I was talking to my old wrestling tag partner, Wayne, and he's like, so eventually it's just going to be, guess what? Batman's a serial killer now.
I mean, that's kind of what it is now.
Right.
It's so grounded. If you took away the bat suit, you could just, like I said, you could just release this movie as a film, and it's a well-made film. Just call it, like I said, Detective Vengeance.
Yeah.
And that's it. He just works with the cops, and he just, exact same movie, just no bat suit.
Right.
And that's how grounded it is at this point. And it's fine. I mean, I thought it was good. I thought the way they did it, the film is well made. I liked it, but I don't know. Does it run the risk of just being so grounded that it's not even a superhero movie anymore? I mean, this is the most grounded superhero movie I think I've ever seen.
No, it by far, hands down, it was. Other than Joker, right? That was super.
Yeah, this is
grounded.
only a hair above Joker, right?
Yeah.
Because even in like Dark Knight, everyone when the last the Nolan trilogy came out, people were like, "Oh, he made Batman seem possible. It seemed like it could actually happen, like it's real." But there's actually like a lot of sci-fi in there, right? Like they're like sci-fi tech shit that doesn't actually exist. They just made stuff up. This is just literally a dude in football pads or whatever.
Yeah.
Some kind of bulletproof shit. It's super bulletproof, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because he gets shot like 1,000 times.
Oh man, yeah. No, he was getting, and it's just like, what's protecting his jaw from getting shot? Oh man, dude. I don't mean to cut off our Batman stuff. And do you want AEW spoilers?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I don't mind.
So, there's a chance that I see Matt Hardy got voted out of the Hardy family office, and that was a tweet 3 minutes ago. And then Britt Baker tweeted Hardy Boys with a hashtag AEW Dynamite. I'm not seeing anything on there, so I don't know if it's actually official or not, but I guess that really does. Oh, yep. Damn it. All right. Sorry, I kind of spoiled it. I hope anybody there watching here. Oh, yep. Okay. It's a thing. It is a thing.
Hardy Boys are back?
Breaking news. And they said with original music. They got the Hardy Boys theme music.
Tony Khan just can buy whatever the fuck he wants. Hey, I want to talk. Let's finish Batman, then we'll
Yeah,
go
let's
back
do
on
it.
this.
Sorry, because I know we're going to cut this into a pod, and just like all of a sudden they're talking about Hardy Boys. And they're like,
Editors cost like $75 an hour, bro. Come on.
It's like, what are you
We
doing?
got to do it in order.
Yeah, sorry. It's just like, so anyway, speaking of Hardy Boys and mystery books, we have this detective called Batman that we're talking about.
Mike says he rented Detective Vengeance in 1992. I think it's a great title. We should make that now.
Oh.
We need to pitch Detective Vengeance as a
Detective
film.
Vengeance. Yeah, notice everyone kept calling him Vengeance, and he was never really referred to as the Batman. They called him a freak. They called him come on, Vengeance. What was your feeling on Colin Farrell as the Penguin?
That was the best Penguin ever.
Yeah.
I mean, because the Danny DeVito one, I think people have nostalgia for it, but it was kind of stupid.
It was comedy.
It was dumb. Like it didn't make any sense. He was the Penguin is an actual penguin. No, I like that he's just like a gangster, and it's Colin Farrell in a bunch of makeup doing a Robert De Niro impression.
Oh yeah, think about it, because think about when Henry Hill's doing that scene in Goodfellas when he's walking down. He's like, "There's Tony 2 times, and there's this guy." And it's like, that's guy. We call him Penguin because he walks because he has a waddle.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
why he's Penguin. So, but yeah, he was unrecognizable. It's just like you wouldn't even know. Would you if you were watching that, you wouldn't know it was Colin Farrell?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't seem like anybody.
You know what that's
to
called?
recognize.
Acting. Yeah. So, props to him. But did they? I thought it was because it was interesting that Colin Farrell was once one of the people that was up to play Batman. That somebody looked at him and was like, you know what? You'd make a really good Penguin.
How did he get that gig? You must know Matt Reeves or something.
I don't know. There must be some kind of connective tissue there. For sure, but I think he knows. But he did a great job, and they really did establish. So an HBO Max series is coming not only for Gotham PD.
That one's off. That one got canceled.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
So with no more year 1 Gotham PD.
No Gotham PD. That's gone.
So they're going right to Penguin.
I think they're reshuffling. I think they didn't realize because the Batman did super good at the box office. It made a shit ton of money. And I don't think they were estimating. Now they're just like, whoa, people like this. Damn it. Okay, let's rethink this. Now they're rethinking their series altogether.
Yeah, like, but why? Why wouldn't you realize? Again, well, we talked about this was on our show last week. People weren't feeling the hype until the very, very, very last second.
Yeah.
They were not feeling the hype. But again, we circle back to Batman Begins. It was the same way because Batman Begins was here and then Dark Knight was like, bam. So do you think that's going to happen with the Batman and then the second Batman? People are going to be like, bam.
I don't know. I think I'm going to just say this. This is a hot take. One of the factors about this Batman that I think people didn't account for is how much this Batman is for the ladies.
Oh, yeah.
This is probably the most sexualized, hottest Batman they've ever done, right?
Yeah.
They even got him in like eyeshadow for half the movie. And it's the guy from the Twilight movies, from the movies you loved when you were a teenager or whatever, you know, and you were way into that.
Cedric Diggory
he's
was in Twilight?
Now he's in Batman. So like maybe, you know, folks weren't generally hyped for it, but like when it came out on Friday, I was like, I kind of want to see the vampire kid. You know, that what's his name? I don't know what he was named in the Twilight. But like I want to go see that guy as Batman. That sounds good.
Yeah, Edwin. I don't know what we talked about this last week. Do you think they would go for basically book a gimmick match and have Kristen Stewart play Poison Ivy? She would kill it. She's also a great actress. Would you go for the gimmick and have Twilight reunion on Batman and basically Batman versus Poison Ivy?
I don't think they would go that route. I think it's.
But think about this: if they go meta, right? If they go real life, that's the whole thing with that tension. Similar to, I think Catwoman and Batman were a little bit more compatible. The bats and the cats. Where the Poison Ivy is just like it was there a little bit, but obviously it's in the name. It's implied. It's poison. If you fall in love with this, it's gonna suck because it's gonna hurt. It's gonna burn. It's gonna itch. Do you think that's worth risking the gimmick because that's money? You're going to get a gimmick now that you're having a Twilight reunion and you got a new villain in Poison Ivy. You know, Uma Thurman did a good job, but again, that was a little bit more of the comical take. But I can see Kristen Stewart doing a really darker take on Poison Ivy. To have somebody that's very, you know, a vegan who's just kind of attacking everybody, you know, kind of like the whole health halo is in a lot of people's face and just taking it to a whole another level. You know, doesn't anyone care about what happened to the Beast? Well, yeah, Poison Ivy does, and she's going to whoop your ass for it.
I mean, I think Poison Ivy would be great as a character. I just think if they booked Kristen Stewart for it, it would draw too much attention to itself, you know?
Yeah.
I think it would be a distraction.
It's too risky.
But Poison Ivy as a character would be great. Put her in the movie. But yeah,
I mean, there's tons of great. You know who I would book as Poison Ivy is my favorite actress. We talked about her on the Scream podcast once upon a time. I would book Mikey Madison. Is that her last name? Mikey, the girl. You know, spoiler alert. She was the she was in Scream. We'll leave it at that. But she was one of Manson's followers. And once upon, I remember your white little face. I'd like to see her as Poison Ivy. Book that. And tell Ruffner is Bane. Now we're talking. If you want to have that Twilight reunion, then you got to get Wolf Boy in there too. And just book him as Bane. So now you got Bane, Poison Ivy, and Batman, and have a Twilight reunion in there.
Just get the whole Twilight crew back into it.
Right.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, you got to lean into that.
Yeah, just like that would be heavy. And it could be done. But yeah, if you didn't want to draw that type of tabloid attention to it, maybe you do go with someone like Mikey and risk it. But I would love to see it. You know who was my favorite? I don't remember his name, but my other favorite from 60s Batman that they never really revisited in any film was Vincent Price as Egghead. I loved Egghead.
What was Egghead's power?
He just had eggs. I don't know.
Just regular eggs?
Yeah, he didn't have any power. But they didn't really have, nobody had powers in those. They were just assholes with like gimmicks. That's all they really had. None of them had any kind of powers. The power was like they would always have some kind of sleeping gas, and for some reason they can walk through it, but everybody else would get knocked TF out. But I want Vincent Price Egghead in there, but I don't know what his power would be. But again, that when you run the risk though, if you start getting into that menagerie, that it's a little bit too comical. The other one was the King Tut. They had an Egyptian one. He was the bigger, so you kind of run the risk. Bane you can ground. Obviously, Tom Hardy grounded Bane pretty well. You just get a steroid abuser in there that would actually give you some roid rage. But Egghead had the power of Vincent Price.
I think they set up Bane in this movie, so Bane must be in the cards.
It must be, yeah.
I think here's one thing. I was. What do you think for the sequel? Because they're going to do a sequel. Obviously, I'm sure they're going to announce it or have if they haven't already. Do you think it should start right after this movie, where the city is destroyed and flooded, and go into like No Man's Land storyline territory? Or should it be like a time jump and now we're like year 4 or something like that?
No, I don't think they can time jump because again, the villain won. And I'm kind of like the city was destroyed and they're talking about rebuilding, but then he said, there's going to be looting and stuff like that. I don't think you can get that off that easy. I want to see what happens. I don't think Pattinson get that back broken. I don't know. I'd like to see it. I think you need to finish this. I think a good take on this would be, and I think there's a comic book about this. Basically, they have this story where the National Guard, remember he said the National Guard is coming in, but in the comic books, in one of the books, they wouldn't even let the National Guard wouldn't come in. They're like, screw it. So then all the villains started like basically grabbing territories. Now what you can do is put a wall around there and have an Escape from New York version of the Batman.
Well, I mean, did you read the No Man's Land Batman comics? Do you know about those?
No.
So it's like a whole storyline where Batman or Gotham gets hit with an earthquake, and there's sort of like Batman on horseback trying to, and exactly like you said, the gangs, all the villains take their stuff.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. No time jump. Just totally go for that. No Batman trilogy has been a real-time story. It's been a big part of the angle here. Yeah, I'd like to jump right into it.
I think so, because the city is destroyed. You got to see how this plays out.
He won.
You can't just like cut to, and then 2 years later, the water was gone and everything was back to normal.
No, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I mean, he didn't even get a shot. When he said, I've put 7 bombs around the city, even Christopher Nolan's just like, okay, I got Harvey Dent and I got Rachel. They both have a bombs. Who are you gonna save? He gave him a chance to at least try to save one. This Riddler was like, oh, you're not that smart. I got 7 bombs. Oh, too late. They all blew up. He didn't even get a shot to fix, because couldn't he have at least stopped one? What was Batman's thing for that? There's 7 bombs. Call the commissioner. Too late. Boom! They already blew up. Same thing, which is like, something terrible is going to happen to Alfred. And she's like, oh, it already did about an hour ago. Where the hell were you?
I think that's part of the lesson that Batman learned in this movie. Part of his arc is that he has to learn, as a vigilante, you can't go out and just punch bombs, right?
Yeah.
You can't punch bombs like you punch thugs, right?
Yeah.
And bombs, you can't out punch a bomb. So you have to just, be the symbol of hope after the bomb.
Yeah, you're right. No, and I think although Mythbusters, I'd like to see the Punch a Bomb episode, but I think you're right. I think I told you this. He had to be the hero afterwards. But man, didn't it seem like a lot of people died?
Yeah. I mean, the city flooded, so people
and you
died.
saw a lot of people just getting all of a sudden just basically getting washed away. That was to me, it was just wow, not only did the villain win, but the villain won big. He won big. He wiped out tons of people with that.
It's just like 7. His plan worked, In the end, he won. That's what I'm saying. This movie's doing a full-on 7 impression.
Yeah.
With a big action scene at the end.
And then that's what it was, though. Just he won, so Batman's going to figure out how to be a symbol of hope. Oh, yeah, because I wasn't crazy about the whole thing of just although it was very realistic and it was very grounded, it looked like, again, they're going... Was this filmed before the whole Capitol storming stuff, right? But I guess they already had the whole going into chat rooms and figuring some stuff out. That felt very realistic to me, where he just basically had all these people, I am Negan, except they were I am Riddlers.
I am Vengeance.
Yeah. And they were and they said that I am vengeance, but that was very realistic. But yeah, he wasn't really able to stop anything. But again, forgiving just because it was year 2 Batman, so he's still learning the ropes. How do you think this is going to fit into the DCEU plans? Like, I know they're going to have these separate universes, but this feels like so grounded. I don't know how you would fit like a Robert Pattinson, because we're going to get the Flash, which, by the way, newsflash. See what I did there? Newsflash. The Flash, Shazam, Black Adam, Aquaman were all delayed today. They all got pushed.
Yeah, because Batman is a success now. They're just like, oh shit, we made a bunch of crap. We made a bunch of crap no one's gonna like. They like this stuff.
They pushed
They
it.
want Nirvana music. They want Nirvana in it, and they want
Oh, man.
guys wearing eyeshadow in it. We now we have a bunch of like.
Man, that's a mistake.
We just blew it.
That's a mistake if they do that. Remember, this happened, ironically, went around. This happened. This is why Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man suffered. Remember, there's just like, I think it was around the time of Batman. They're like, oh, they want dark heroes now, so we got to make Spider-Man a little darker, and it just didn't work. And now look, you have Peter 3, and he came in here with as fun Spider-Man, and he stole the show. So if they go back and all of a sudden make dark Aquaman, and Shazam was already going to be dark, that's fine, but you can't have dark Flash.
I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're just going to try and have to figure out how to position their stuff and be like, this is separate from this other stuff,
Yeah.
right? Joker and Batman. There's just they have to figure out a way to educate their viewers about how this is all going to work, because Batman came out, the new Batman, and they love the new Batman.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have another film, and it's going to have Batfleck in it, and they're worried. Folks are going to be confused. It's like, why is Ben Affleck Batman again? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, my cups died. But no, you're right. And I think the whole idea is the Flash is going to be the most important movie they have, right? Because Wonder Woman 84 kind of showed that the first one was beloved and the second one people hated. And if they would have went in theaters, they would have hated it as well. So Aquaman is a coin toss, but Jason Momoa is very popular, same as Gal Gadot, and they're able to almost like with Harley Quinn, they're so popular as that character. People just like, oh, that one was good, but we still love you. We still love Margot Robbie as, Harley Quinn, so we can forgive that. That's why Flash is going to be more important, because he's only been established in a movie that was already under turmoil, and now they have to have this film that is basically going to establish the multiverse with 2 Batmans in there, a popular Batman and one who wasn't popular but eventually became beloved. And like you said, now they have to figure out, this film is going to establish how all their other properties in the entire DC universe, past, present, and future, are all hinging on how they establish this. Similar to what is going to happen, we assume, with Doctor Strange, but happened with Spider-Man No Way Home. It established all these films. And guess what? It worked. Now everybody loves all Spider-Mans. All Spider-Mans are loved. All Spider-Mans are welcome. Now this has to happen not only with the Batman, but, No Way Home made that with like all the Raimi trilogy and the Webb trilogy. They're all accepted now. You forgot that people didn't like the Webb trilogy. People were not okay with Andrew Garfield. So this is why the Flash movie is going to be super important. Rock is going to be fine. It's going to be Shazam. If it's going to work, if it doesn't work, that's fine. Flash is more important than anything. Shazam did okay. People liked it, so they're going to do the same thing. And I think they do need to raise the stakes, but Flash is more important. And they really need to take, if whatever they're doing to delay because of the Batman, I hope they're focusing on Flashpoint, because that's the most important one.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of they have to figure out how to explain it to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because not everyone is like on the internet all the time.
No.
Getting all these tidbits from movies. It's like they're just casual moviegoers are going to be like, why is Ben Affleck Batman again? I
Right.
don't understand what's going on. So somehow they've got to figure out how to do this, because they're not going to overlap their universes, I don't think, anymore.
And I think that's why in that Flash teaser, you hear Michael Keaton's voice, but they never they only show the back of his cowl. but they kind of already hinted what's coming because they said you can go to any timeline. Why do you care so much about this one? So they're already trying to basically prime the pumps to let people know that this is coming.
Yeah.
All right, you want to take the Batman home? I don't know how that went long. Do you want to give me The Office and give final take? You get.
I dug it. I thought it was a fine made film. Like I said, you took the suit away. It's whatever. It's Detective Vengeance, and it's just a gritty crime drama, and with Robert Pence, and it's still a good movie. You know? I thought the opening was really good. I liked the first 20 minutes. I thought were awesome.
Yep.
Overall, I think it's my second favorite. I guess after Dark Knight. You know, it's good. It's good, but I just, again, the thing that bugs me is just the whole. It's doing 7 again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I liked it. I don't know. There's still that part of me that I loved seeing it in theater. I didn't go see it in IMAX. I did see it in XD, but I'd like to have. To me, it played too many into the chapters. But I was happy with it. All the performances were. I know Paul Dano's getting a lot of heat for his Riddler performance, but I thought his Riddler performance was good.
It was good. He played it like a serial killer.
Yeah.
Oh, best score of all the Batman movies.
You were down with the score.
Best score, yeah, for sure.
Okay,
for me.
yeah. I feel like Batman always delivers on their scores. Like, there hasn't really been any bad scores, right? I mean, you have the Tim Burton one is kind of iconic, and then you think of the Nolan one, and it kind of rings in your head. Was that Hans Zimmer?
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer. So, good job finding a way to like keep the streak of having great scores alive. But all for it. I'm down for the Batman too. I mean, it definitely wasn't enough that I'm not gonna say no. For sure. So we'll be right back. Same bat time, same bat channel after a word from our sponsors.
Out on the town, flying around, pizzas disappear. Now you're talking Friday night. Now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is smoking here.
Stroh's, fire brewed for smooth, consistent taste.
Now you're talking Stroh's. Now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is smoking here.
Back.
Oh man, I know you have to edit this, but it's gonna be The Batman The 2. Mike just called it The Batman The 2.
I got a tip for Batman. So drop the. Just call it Batman.
Just call it that. Throw people off. I don't know, yeah. Or you just put a year on it like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Just drop the.
The jingle sounds like the South Park guys sang it. Hey, we gotta be we pick our sponsors wisely. So we knew it was gonna play like that. All right, well, last segment we're gonna talk about. It's time. I'm going to take a swig of beer for the working man because we're going to be talking about.
That you hear that?
What are we going to talk about? What? What are we going to talk about? What? Should we talk about what? WrestleMania. What? And the return of what? Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Kevin Owens, KO, put the challenge out. We knew he would. He was talking shit about Texas. You know, and JBL came out. Booker T came out. They're going to be in Texas. And then they actually filmed this nice little short film of Stone Cold accepting the challenge. I didn't
watch that one.
Oh, you didn't?
No. What happened on it?
He basically came riding in on one of his four-wheelers on his property like he was riding in from the distance. He skidded into the camera, and he basically accepted his challenge to face him. Now, he didn't say it was going to be – they never said it was going to be a match. I don't know. We had to go back and watch to see if it didn't say it was going to be a match or a fight. But basically, he said, you know what? For 19 years, the last time I was at WrestleMania, I took 3 rock bottoms, 1, 2, 3, you know, and I lost. And nobody knew this was going to be my final match. But it was my final match, and I've had to live with that for 19 years. Now, all of a sudden, you call me out at WrestleMania at the same time you're talking shit about Texas, and you're talking about WrestleMania, Dallas, where my career started at the world famous Sportatorium, and you're calling me out? You awoke something in me that I didn't know needed to be awoke, but now it's awoke, and I'm coming to get you. I accept your challenge.
Thank you. I will take one ticket to WrestleMania.
That's
Please.
that was I kind of ad-libbed that a little bit, but that was basically the TLDR of what he said. I added the sportatorium part, but it is important to the story.
No, it is a fact. It's going to be in the video package that happens before the match. That's cool. Stone Cold. They need to sell 200,000 tickets. So I mean,
well, yeah. The rumor is that there's 50,000 tickets per night still available. That's the rumor. And they had the Johnny Knoxville. They had the Logan Paul. They got Ronda Rousey. They got the Brock match. They got the Undertaker going into the Hall of Fame with the rumor that he may be making some kind of appearance because he also got his start at the world famous Sportatorium as Big Red. So there's a lot of history there in Dallas. So I like this. I mean, Steve Austin trained there. It's very fitting for him to come back. I don't think he didn't have that Shawn Michaels moment like with The Undertaker or Ric Flair against Shawn Michaels where they had this deal that this is going to be my last match and that's what he basically got. And back then they didn't have that, you're not medically cleared to work. He just decided to say, I'm not medically cleared to do this anymore. But he probably started feeling really good. And he probably had to get medically cleared enough to at least, even if it's going to be just some kind of confrontation. But I guess this is the guy to do it with because CM Punk tried for years to have that CM Punk versus Stone Cold in WWE. And they teased it a little bit during one of their video game reveals. It almost happened. It never pulled it off. So this Kevin Owens, after he took the stunner as his finisher, this is the guy to do it. And I think this is going to give him enough. He has enough of a nudge in the wrestling world that it's going to elevate that Stone Cold is back. Because now this is the equivalent of having a huge celebrity there with having Stone Cold there.
Is Stone Cold, do you think can he do a match? Yeah. When's the last time he did a match?
19 years.
So do you think he could put together something?
Was it 19 years?
I don't know. I feel like it's been a while. He is not. I mean,
it was the WrestleMania with The Rock. I think he can. If you can get Sting, who's north of 60, diving off a balcony.
He's probably a big inspiration there.
Yeah, I'm sure that kind of woke him up. And Undertaker's always there was a video of Undertaker boxing on his Twitter feed, so he's talking about he might be getting physical. So yeah, I absolutely think. I mean, he's going to be able to have a brawl. He already had to modify his, he's told his story, when Owen dropped him on his head and he was almost paralyzed, he had to modify his style to become more of a brawler. So if you do this where he doesn't have to take any kind of crazy bumps, and KO probably needs to not, there's going to be a lot of his moveset he's not going to be able to do. But if you let KO be KO and just basically bump all around Steve and have them just have like a knockdown, drag out fight, 100% he can do it. You never feel like you can't do it. You never feel like you can't do it. I feel like I can get in a freaking ring right now. So I can only imagine someone who did it at his level. If he feels like that he can do it, absolutely, I think he can do it.
So why has it been so long since he's been back? You think Vince just parked a money van in front of his house?
Yeah, I think about this is the first WrestleMania. Last year they had somewhat of an audience, but before that, right, we had no audience, and now all of a sudden you're coming back to now full capacity for 2 nights. And you need some headlines, and you need every match to mean something, and you're doing it in Texas. So who's your biggest stars that are Texas-related? They have all 3, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, and Stone Cold. They have some other ones that are Texas-related, the JBL or Booker T, but that's not going to sell the tickets as the number 1 merch mover of all time in Stone Cold. So I think he literally pulled up the Brinks van, as Jim Cornette probably said, pulled up the Brinks van and convinced him, hey, it's in Dallas. Or maybe Steve Austin got the itch, and he's just like, you know what, maybe this is the time to do it. Maybe he's been, always been thinking about it, but then you see someone like Sting, and maybe it inspired him to do it.
Yeah.
And Mike said there's no travel too, right? They're basically going to drive there.
Yeah, just drive a couple hours and come be on the show.
Yeah, and just come and be there. And because he was there for the Mania, he was there for the Armenia, right? He just didn't wrestle?
I don't remember.
Well, yeah, that goes to show that whatever he did, it wasn't. Oh, yeah, no, he did. He was there with the New Day. He gave the New Day the stunners, and he just basically made a quick appearance, but it wasn't actually a match. So now you're going to actually be able to build this as a match. I'm all for it. I want to see what he does. You know he's in shape. You can see that he still clearly is still working out, and I'm sure he's got a ring in his yard, just like Undertaker's got a ring in his yard. I'm sure he's going to, and now it's going to be a little bit less risk, a little bit less improv. They'll be able to map out the entire thing. I'm sure he's going to want to call it in the ring, but if you wanted to just like, even if you just get 7 to 10 minutes of Stone Cold, I was not even considering going to this WrestleMania because I'm still have a sour taste in our match from the Mania that we went to last time in that building. But I got to be honest, when they said that, I was like, do I want to go?
So do you got to buy both nights just to be sure you can see Stone Cold?
No, they announced he's going to be Saturday night.
He's Saturday night.
Yeah, he's Saturday night's main event. So you will know what the card is going to be when you buy it, I'm assuming. But they did announce him for Saturday. So I guess that would suck if you went to buy one and you're like, "Oh no, sorry, he's going to be here tomorrow." But I got to go to school. He'll be like that guy at Cult Classic Convention. Let me talk to your manager. Oh man, so Mike saw him in person. Last time I saw Stone Cold, he gave the stunner to Trump and Vince in Detroit. Yeah, Trump with the worst stunner bump since Linda McMahon. Saudi money in your backyard. So I'm sure he's getting paid really well to come back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's getting a good paycheck out of it. It's good. I mean, it gives WrestleMania immediately something it's
something special.
Something to watch.
It is, and it gives us a nice serving of our remember berries for our WWE nostalgia kick and the wrestling fans in us. We're going to be excited. Everybody knows Stone Cold, right, from the Attitude Era. I feel like he crossed over into mainstream 100%, right?
Yeah, he's been on reality shows. He was in Expendables, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in the Expendables, yeah. He was in The Longest Yard.
He's like almost Hulk Hogan level status as far as pop culture,
Yeah.
recognizability.
Yeah, I mean, he's on my Mount Rushmore for sure. Like he's up there. I mean, when you hear the glass, that's your ass. You know you've made an impact on somebody that anytime I hear glass break, whether a waiter drops glass, a rock goes through a window, as soon as I hear that glass, I go, dun 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 dun, wah wah, dun 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 dun, wah wah, bum 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 bum, wah wah wah. I do the whole thing. But hot take, Ronda Rousey, Logan Paul, Johnny Knoxville against Sami Zayn. They're getting a lot of celebrities. They're pulling out all the stops. I don't think they're going to have a legit sellout either night.
Yeah, no, that's a big room.
Yeah, I don't think they possibly could have had a worked sellout if it was a one-night affair. For 2 nights, they're not going to sell out both nights. And I think it's going to be... But Vince is great. I remember George the Animal Steel saying, don't worry about it. Vince is going to make it look like this place is packed when they weren't selling tickets. He's been on the downtime, so he knows how to make 5,000 look like 15,000. So you're not going to be able to tell. And I'm sure they're going to announce an attendance record, possibly. But I don't think they're going to have a legit sellout either night. Now, they might work the sellout and they might give away the tickets and stuff, but I don't think they're going to have that. It's going to be eye-opening for them, I think.
You think? Really? I think, though, maybe.
You think they're going to nudge it out?
I mean, they can just give the tickets away. Why wouldn't they just give them away? Folks will go. They got nothing else to do.
Yeah, and then they'll call it a sellout. But my point is just like there was...
it's not going to be a legit sellout.
No, I don't think so. I just don't think it would be. And I wish it would. Again, but this goes... But then again, seeing Vince McMahon on the Pat McAfee show, that's required viewing for all wrestling fans.
All right, I'm going to watch it.
That's required viewing for all wrestling fans, and especially for older wrestling fans, because it just brought it all back. Because I think Vince has become some kind of like imaginary boogeyman in our heads of him holding people out. And I'm not saying it puts him in a good light, but it puts him in, you get to hear his side of the story. And he said a lot of things that were controversial. Like he said, a lot of people, we got rid of a lot of guys that were considered dead weight, and I'm sure a lot of people took offense to that. Like, you could call him Bray Wyatt dead weight. He said, a lot of guys, I don't listen to anything what they say on the internet, that he basically called. He didn't say it was toxic, but he's like, the internet fans are so fickle, I don't listen to them at all. He's like, but he also said, I'm an asshole. I don't know. It's just something about listening to him. This interview, this was a shoot. I don't think him and McAfee had a script. So it was a cool interview to watch. And it was just like, okay, I don't have this weird version of Vince, because I had it too. Like, because I'm like, Vince, how do you not see that Bray Wyatt is money? How do you not see it? But he doesn't. And then you look at him and like, okay, maybe he's playing a different game. Maybe, how you always hear the saying that it's like, it's not checkers, it's chess. Maybe I'm thinking chess and he's playing Parcheesi. But we know what he's playing, Monopoly. He's playing money. So I don't know. It's required viewing. The only thing that came up on the WrestleMania talk there is Pat McAfee is going to have a match. And he actually, and he said that he's going to be inducting The Undertaker into the Hall of Fame. And it's going to be a bigger deal than anybody he's ever inducted. And they're actually going to not possibly show all the inductions because they're going to give that much time to The Undertaker.
How long is The Undertaker's portion going to be? An hour? More than an hour?
They made it sound like he's going to give him as much time as he wants. I can tell you this, Undertaker is not going to get played off the stage. And anybody who wants to go in there and talk about The Undertaker.
Oh my God, is he going to do the full slow walk-in to the podium?
I was curious about that because I don't know if he's going to go the Sting route and I think just actually come out there as Mark Calloway and be gracious, or if he's just like a gracious performer. Not saying he's not gracious, or if he's going to be the no-sell version of The Undertaker and he's just going to come. I just don't think he can do that. I think he has to come out as Mark Calloway. But maybe they find a way to do both. But they're like, Vince McMahon's going to induct him, but how do you have Undertaker up there and not have Shawn Michaels say a word? How do you have The Undertaker up there and not have Kane say a word? I mean, this guy, would you argue that, this guy is as important as you would say Andre the Giant was to the WWE, because you always had Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold and The Rock, but you also had these pillars that were so important to the brand and associated with the brand, and you have Andre was that important that it's decades and you still talk about it. I think Undertaker's going to have that. He's the next coming of what Andre the Giant was.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So I think it's going to be so important. So they're going to give him as much time as he wants. And then you're going to have Stone Cold there. But it's cool. I'm excited. So that means I expect a Texas kicks Kevin Owens ass segment. So you're going to see Booker T. You're going to see GBL. You're probably going to see Shawn Michaels come in there and defend Texas along with Stone Cold. Similar to what we saw with Sting versus Triple H at WrestleMania 31. And then the NWO came out to fight DX. I expect it to be some kind of affair like that. But it's going to just be cool to hear that glass and have Stone Cold come out there. And it's not going to be... I hope they do something cinematic and have something cinematic and add it in and do something IRL in person as well.
I'm sure they'll go all out for that.
Yeah.
Use all of their tools.
They're doing better, honestly, than they did last year, in my opinion, for this WrestleMania. Like, I don't know, maybe all the cuts did help, because I'm starting to see, you're starting to see all the pieces come together really, really quick. That all of a sudden, like, okay, this stuff is all falling into place. And I'm excited to see Ronda versus Charlotte. I am looking forward to that match. Now I'm actually looking for another required viewing for the Pat McAfee show is watch that Brock Lesnar interview on there, where again you got to talk to listen to Brock Lesnar the person, and then you listen to him, you're like, I like this guy now more. To the point where it's just like, we'll do a review of his spice when we get it on there. But now it's like, okay, let's see what he does with Roman. But to me, that's still not going to be the main event. The main event to me is still Ronda versus Charlotte.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too. They're going to have a good card for it. I guess you're right though. The cuts kind of like put some people out of your mind. So you're just like, oh, okay, well, I mean, these are the folks that are going to be on it, and they're lining them up fine.
Yeah, they seem to be doing it. So I don't know. I think they're going to be smart about it. I'm not worried about Stone Cold's health. Like, I don't think something's going to happen to him. I think obviously he still goes in shape, and man, it's a really hard habit to kick. You always like, when I'm working at the kickboxing gym, I'm thinking about spots. I'm thinking about, like, would people freak out if I took a bump for this bag right now? Like, if I just threw myself back. I mean, it's something that you just, like, it drills into you. So I'm not surprised. I thought he really was done, but like I said, he never had that agreement with Rock saying, I'm never coming back from this. He was basically forced out. So now he gets to go out on his terms, similar to what Edge said. I was forced out, and now I'm going to go out on my terms. Do you think, would there be someone else you'd want to see Stone Cold work with to basically give the rub?
Not particular. Not in WWE.
Yeah, I was going to say, because
Not in WWE.
it's very clear that you got Mox, when he was there, and CM Punk those would have been the two that you'd like to see a Stone Cold comeback from. So, and in the current iteration, I think it's KO.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of anybody in WWE that I'm terribly excited about. Or that reminds me of Stone Cold right now. I don't know.
Because they don't have one. That's the thing. It's just like they even when I say KO and I say this with all due respect, nobody. And man, Brock Lesnar again. Watch that interview with Pat McAfee. He calls it out. He's like, you guys got to figure out how to get over. You're not figuring out how to get over. Stop worrying about taking your spots and what kind of bumps you're taking, and figure out how to make money and get over. Brock Lesnar called him out for it, and he wasn't wrong. And it's just like, oh shit, okay, because he's right, because he's over. He told Vince no, and found a way to get over, and then went to the NFL, went to UFC. So he called out the locker room. He's like, I never held any heat against Stone Cold for walking out and not working me, because I did it later. And it's just like, and I understand this is about the business of making money, not the business of who has the best spots. So that's going to be really important. I just don't think they have anybody at that Stone Cold level. Their number one guy that because when somebody's over, they transcend everybody. And that guy is Brock Lesnar right now. And Ronda Rousey, is there anybody else? That's why I told you I never had any heat for them winning, because there's nobody else that's at that level. Their number one guy is Roman, but he doesn't transcend the company yet. He's been in one movie, he was in the Hobbs and Shaw, but he's not there yet. But he's great at what he's doing, but he hasn't transcended like Stone Cold did, like The Rock did.
Well, they're stars, though, being brought into the wrestling company, right?
Right.
Brock Lesnar was a UFC star before he came to WWE, right?
No,
it was the other way around.
Yeah, it was the other way around.
I see.
They recruited Brock out of college. He got on the road. He got the push. He beat everybody, and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. He left. He went into football, and then UFC started getting bigger, and then he went into UFC, won the title there. Then after his contract ran there, then he came back. Then he went back again to UFC and fought, and then he came back. So he was a self-made guy. Same thing The Rock. The Rock said the same thing Brock said. You got to learn how to say no to this money that you're making and figure out a way to get yourself over. Or else you're just going to get paid really well to take bumps, but that doesn't mean you're going to elevate yourself.
All right, I want to see this.
Yeah, Pat McAfee. He's great.
It's on YouTube, you said?
Yeah, the Pat McAfee show's on YouTube.
I would play it right now, but YouTube would kick us off.
Yeah,
YouTube.
they would for playing. Don't play YouTube on YouTube.
We
But yeah,
would
those
kick
are,
off YouTube for
there's
playing
a
this on
Stone
YouTube.
Cold one on there I have not watched yet. But I mean, the Vince McMahon was a big deal because it was the first time he did any kind of public interview since his Stone Cold interview on the network, and that was a great one too. But this one felt more real. There was no script. Vince McMahon was dropping F-bombs and saying shit and just shooting, talking about getting into fights as kids. As a kid, you got to know Vince as a human. So, and same thing with Brock, man. Brock is crazy to the point it worked, because guess what? I brought Brock Lesnar spices because of that interview. So it worked.
All right. Yeah,
Well done.
I'm
So
definitely
it
gonna
was a
check
shoot.
those out, man. Those sound real good.
All right, so that's you. We'll tap The Office. It's almost 9:00. Tap The Office. Go home. Final take. Stone Cold. Steve Austin. Give me a hell yeah or oh hell no.
I'll give it. Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
It's good. I'll tune into WrestleMania just for that.
But still, just the Peacock. Now, where are we making the trip to Dallas?
I think the Peacock will be satisfactory.
Yeah, I can't get my son. I was like, hey, Stone Cold's gonna be there. Do you want? He's like, oh no.
Here's the thing. We'd be sitting 1,000 miles from. the
Yeah,
ring.
unless maybe they're giving seats away.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to see, but we'll watch it on the
If
Peacock.
they're giving seats away, let's get a bunch of them. We'll take all the viewers.
Yeah.
All 5 of them.
Yeah, all 5 of our viewers on there. That would be great. So cool. I think we're going home. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our beers. SD Friends, no relation to SD Jones, who's the father of Virgil. No relation. Thanks to our sponsor that doesn't know our sponsor yet, Stroh's.
Stroh's
Yeah.
is spoken here.
Yes. And then, thank you to Ewan McGregor for coming back and coming in for another hello there. You made our day.
Oh, sorry, was that?
Yeah, yes, that was it.
Was that the end? Okay, yeah. See you
say,
later.
Hello there. Goodbye there.